Regan Ogle. 5, Will Evans.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Silverlands Stadium. Buxton in navy blue, Scunthorpe in black and white, just going through their pre-match handshakes as the Iron come to Buxton seeking revenge for what happened last time in their own patch. Buxton are the only team so far this season to have gone to Lincolnshire and walked away with all 3 points. Technically, they did it twice. First time around, the weather was the saviour for Scunthorpe United, but Jimmy Dean alluded to it at the time. Despite playing well, Scunthorpe ended up falling apart in the second half, losing by 3-0. The incentive for the Iron today is to go 5 points clear at the top of the National League North, stretching away from Tamworth. Buxton, however, currently in mid-table mediocrity, but have beaten Tamworth here, drawn against Hereford here, and have beaten Scunthorpe United, as I mentioned, at Glanford Park. Captains are just taking the handshakes and the coin toss in the centre of what's a near sellout stadium here at Silverlands. A flare has just gone off away to my right-hand side, so there is a foggy mist of blue making its way towards the centre of the pitch. But it's a great atmosphere and it's a great time to bring in Lee Turnbull. Lee, what are your thoughts going into this one?
Obviously, it's going to be a very difficult game, as you rightly pointed out. You know, Buxton came to our place twice, including the abandoned game in the 95th minute, I think it was, and managed to turn us over twice. So we're under no illusions it's going to be a really tough game. I think Buxton will be more like the away team today, you know, in terms of their setup, James. I think they'll sit in, I think they'll occupy areas of the pitch with many shoots getting around the likes of Jacob Butterfield and Kean Skills and Mikey Clunan in midfield. But yeah, listen, we've got enough talent out there on this pitch today to hopefully break Buxton down. And again, this is the measure of where we are as a football club, and if we want to remain top of the league, we have to come to places like Buxton and get a result.
Absolutely. Last time Scunthorpe won 5 in a row. Buxton were in the Northern Premier League, taking on the likes of North Ferriby United on the other side of the Humber. We are underway here at Silverlands Stadium, and Scunthorpe are attacking the Marshall Terrace away to our right-hand side in this first half. Whitehall with an early cross into the penalty area, which is gathered comfortably by Max Durnley, who's in green this afternoon with a thermal underneath, and he will bowl the ball out straight away for their captain, Josh Granite. Long ball forward, which Buxton are going to try and get onto with a long ball straight through the middle, and it was Jake Wright, Buxton's number 7, pursuing it, playing in the attacking positions this afternoon, but the offside flag going up against him in the opening minute. Fitzsimmons will usher half of his defence away as he moves the ball into position over on the far side. Most of the Scunthorpe United fans are stood directly opposite us in the small roofed terrace. Stadium capacity of around 3,500 here in Derbyshire, with the Peak District glistening away in its splendour in the background. Long ball played in by the Iron, looking into the penalty area. Free header though, simple enough for Buxton to deal with. Comes to rest at the halfway line, hit back forward that time by, on that occasion, Boyce, playing alongside Evans in the back line. Scunthorpe winning it high and now driving towards the penalty area. Roberts and Smith, they try and combine and keep a hold of the ball in the final third, but Buxton clearing their lines. Jake Wright trying to twist and turn, catches his man but took the ball first, so it's play on, signalled by the referee, as now it's Walker down this left hand touchline, and that will be cleared into touch by Boyce for a throw-in. Hits the metallic roof above us, and first opportunity for Buxton really to knock on the door of Scunthorpe United's penalty area. 2 minutes gone. Connor Brown, former Sheffield United man, has the ball in hand, throws it in short. Ogle goes to press, and the ball is returned to Brown. McCourt in midfield, playing back into his defence. A touch of the ball that time by Hunt, who sends it long into the penalty area over Boyce's head. Wright tried to bring it down, however, it's a lack of quality in the touch. And Scunthorpe can clear their lines, and it's a long diagonal out to the right-hand side. But Buxton, Lee, with the early incentives going forward.
Yeah, they try to force the issue, a couple of channel balls, forcing us to defend a little bit deeper than what we'd ideally want to do in the early stages of the game. But Connor Brown as well, as you pointed out, very experienced player. They've got a lot of experience in the team, Buxton. Curtis Weston and Jack McCourt, both ex-Chesterfield players, and Connor Brown, ex-Sheffield United. So they've got a smattering of experience in the team. I'm fully expecting them to try and break us down by being physical, by being direct. But that's the challenge that we've got to withstand.
And here they go with a switch of play, with a cross into the penalty area, which is met by Jake Wright, and then set back, spilled by Fitzsimmons, and Buxton just put it wide. Max Brogan had the first shot 18 yards out. It was parried by Fitzsimmons on his left-hand post, and then charging in after that was Motley Henry, who's taken a bit of a clattering in the 6-yard box. He's come off worse as Fitzsimmons is on his haunches at the moment, and the referee this afternoon just checking in. It's Sean Taylor today. Fitzsimmons back up to his feet, so too Motley Henry, but that was a very dangerous opportunity which Fitzsimmons really should have done more with.
Yeah, I think it caught Ross out a little bit. It was a shot from the edge of the box which I would expect Ross to comfortably smother. Anyway, it's bounced off him, and Dylan Motley Henry steaming in from that right wing position. He should score, really. He should score, but he's put it wide of the post.
Scunthorpe United just appearing to be a little unsettled then, but now they're in possession as Ogle on halfway looks for a ball forward towards Law, who just has a little nibble of the shirt on Connor Brown, and Brown takes the bait. That will be a free kick. Jimmy Dean with his first bellow from the dugout below us here at Tarmac Silverland Stadium, to give it its full name. Referee Sean Taylor just wanting Buxton to hurry along a little bit, as McCourt is going to leave this for Durnley near halfway, about 12 yards or so where he collects the ball. So it looks as like they're going to be very direct, Buxton, from their free kick situation, and pin Scunthorpe United in and make them defend. They're going to leave Connor Smith forward. Everyone else is back amongst it, as Durnley will, right-footed, swing the ball towards the 18-yard line of Scunthorpe's penalty area. Drop short, free header away. Over on that far side, a little glancing header that time by Minahan. Doesn't go anywhere as Buxton force their way back to the keeper. Durnley will whack away down the middle, and Boyce just ducks, so it's from keeper to keeper. Fitzsimmons just chesting it. 5 minutes gone, 0-0 the scoreline here at Silverland Stadium, and Fitzsimmons will just take his time before rolling the ball out to Boyce, who's probably had the most touches so far. He sends it long, looking forward up towards Danny Whitehall. Whitehall didn't really leap for the header. Ogle advances out of the right back position, and Brown, the fellow full back that he's going up against, receives the ball. Durnley towards Granite, who clears away up towards Motley Henry again in the right wing position, battling away with Tyler Denton. Denton has come up as the winner of the contest, with Kerry Williams, today's lines lady, over on the far side, as Scunthorpe United just try and settle. Law, recipient from the throw-in, hit back into the defence. Space for Boyce to bring this ball away from Fitzsimmons' penalty area. Ogle collects, little 1-2 between the pair. Boyce will now go back to Fitzsimmons in, I have to say, Lee, Fitzsimmons' goalkeeper attire, it's a bit like rhubarb and custard today, isn't it? Got a lovely yellow and pink combination.
Yeah, he's got the old steward's outfit on, hasn't he? I don't think he got the memo, did Ross? Yeah, he's blending in nicely with the stewards with that fluorescent green. But two similar styles today, 4-3-3 both teams, and I do think if we can get control of the midfield, which is so important, the likes of Mikey Clune and Jacob Butterfield and Kean Scales can dictate play, then I do think that we will win this game. However, Buxton are such a stubborn side, you know, a very resilient side. Anyway, free kick to the iron just inside Buxton's half.
Yep, Danny Whitehall contesting the ball with Josh Granite. Granite towered over him, they crumpled together. It's just beyond the centre circle, and the ever-experienced Jacob Butterfield standing over this, right-footed. Around 6 players in white shirts, all in a line, all to aim at as Butterfield plays it in. It's headed into the 6-yard box. Durnley, though, leaps, and a simple take for him, as Buxton just didn't really allow too much in the way of a big opportunity. Whitehall was pressurising, but on that occasion, nothing really coming of the diagonal ball played in by Butterfield. Then the cross, as Buxton just whacked the ball away with a lack of purpose, really. Fitzsimmons is going to jog over and take that. They had plenty of time to settle. I think they've just tried to unlock the defence a little early there, Lee.
Yeah, and it shows what we thought. You know, Buxton are going to be direct. The two centre-halves, Granite and Max Hunt there, they're not going to mess about. They get the ball out the feet, they stick it in the channels, they expect the willing Jake Wright at the top end of the pitch to chase things down. So yeah, listen, there's no surprises from this Buxton side. They work hard, they get in your face and they make it uncomfortable. But just going back to the Jacob Butterfield free kick, it was a great flighted ball in, back stick for Andrew Boyce. Just got above his man but couldn't get it really any power on the ball and looped into Max Durnley's hands. But a bit more positive from the Iron, forcing the play a little bit more in the Buxton half.
Connor Brown shields out a attempted ball forward by Scunthorpe down the right hand channel that Law was giving chase to, and both teams just not really able to get into a rhythm so far, both going for a very direct approach as Jimmy Dean has Andy Butler alongside him in communication. Buxton trying to play a little bit shorter now out of their defence as the ball comes into the feet of Brown, and then Hunt under pressure from Whitehall, able to pivot away and plays the ball back to Durnley inside the penalty area as Whitehall is the lone man pressing at the moment for the Iron. Attempted diagonal played again by Buxton. Free header for Regan Ogle. His header will only find Hunt. He's able to control it. Brown on this near side touchline. Three around him in white. Scales, Law and Clunan. So Buxton try and change coordinates and hit another angled, arrowed ball out towards their right-hand side this time. Comes to nothing. Scunthorpe mop up. And now Clunan going for a ball through the air on halfway, which Law is giving chase to. It will bounce with Brown. Law should be comfortable in looking after this. Near the corner flag on this near side touchline. Law trying to play it through nearly towards Butterfield, who was unmarked as he was about to travel into the penalty area. But Scunthorpe just momentarily asserting a bit of dominance in this phase until Buxton get back on the ball with Brown. Brown just to the left of Durnley's penalty area, chipped away from the box by Hunt, but gathered in midfield this time by Scunthorpe. It's just for the last couple of moments, the midfield battle being won by the visitors. Neat ball to Butterfield on the right-hand side. He's got Law unmarked, 25 yards out. He's going to drive at goal, saved by Durnley. He's only pushed it to Whitehall on the byline. Chance for Scunthorpe to make amends. Scales can't get a shot away. Butterfield can, block though. As it all gets a bit frantic, the linesman's got his flag up though on this near side touchline. But that is what we want to see from Scunthorpe United. Couple of second balls won in midfield, and that's what's made those shots materialise.
Yeah, and if there's an area to attack Buxton, it's definitely down their defensive left-hand side with right-footed centre-half in Max Hunt, a right-footed full-back who's playing left-back in Connor Brown. So Jason Law did great to work a position there, smashed it in from 25 yards. The keeper's got down low to palm it away. And then Danny Whitehall found himself with a position right on the byline. Managed to screw it across the face of goal, but the linesman, I think, had the offside flag up, and it's a free kick to Buxton. But better from the Iron, forcing the issue a little bit more, which we should do. Trying to get Jacob Butterfield into those number 10 positions. And I said about the wingers before, playing inverted. Connor Smith on the left-hand side, Jason Law on the right-hand side, playing almost as two number 10s behind Danny Whitehall. But better from the Iron.
Buxton, in the meantime, with another misplaced, angled clearance away. So that's just allowing Scunthorpe now to have a bit of time to settle as Evans from the defence looking to bring the ball down the left-hand side. He'll be gathered by Smith and he'll move it in field. Buxton just win back possession. Wright battling away with Clunan. He had arms on the shoulders of Wright, but he's able to travel forward. Evans then comes in and alleviates the danger, and now Scunthorpe looking to break the other way. Here they come down the left-hand side with Connor Smith. Dribbles past one, a ball into the penalty area by the Buxton defence, and you can hear the roar on the far side from the terraces. They're encouraged by what they're seeing from their side, the Scunthorpe United fans. Quick throw-in taken in the final third. Back it goes towards Denton. Denton uses the short option of Butterfield. Butterfield just with a few strides forward, little ball roll. Nobody wants to go and challenge him. Low ball into the area, which Granite will clear over the roof and out of play for a throw-in. But now encouraging signs starting for Scunthorpe United as Denton will take the throw-in in the midpoint of the Buxton half. Down the line, he tries to poke it through, looking for Connor Smith on that occasion. This time it's wasted, and that will be a goal kick to Buxton.
Yeah, we're 12 minutes into the game, and both sides have had one shot on target, which both keepers spilled and created opportunities at one end for Dylan Mottery-Henry for Buxton and at the other end for Danny Whitehall. But a lot of the play in the middle of the park has been dominated by Scunthorpe. As I've said previously, Buxton will go back to front quickly. The two centre-halves get it out the feet, they try and work it down the channels. Both of the full-backs, Minahan and Brown for Buxton, tend to stay at home rather than being like Ogle and Denton on the overlap and going outside of the wide plays. But yeah, an interesting opening 13 minutes or so, just finding our feet in the game.
For those joining us late here on BBC Radio Humberside, Buxton 0, Scunthorpe United 0. If you're looking for the Mariners match against Harrogate, need to be with our FM coverage on 95.9 FM commentary there from John Tonda and Gary Croft, as a free kick goes Buxton's way. And there's a little bit of displeasure from the terraces on the far side, as Buxton are now invited to go direct into Scunthorpe United's penalty area, but a very high line being built by the back four of Scunthorpe United. They're a good 25 yards away from Fitzsimmons' goal. The free kick being taken out on the far side touchline, about 5 yards in from it and 10 yards from halfway. And this is an opportunity for Jack McCourt to launch one in those bright red boots. He does play it into the penalty area, nobody there to get onto it, and then a shot will come in, that time from Max Hunt, the centre half, who shrugged off his man very easily. Appealing for a free kick was Cian Scales, and the referee didn't listen, but it was a centre half shot as it goes blazing over the crossbar and remains 0-0.
Yeah, good delivery there from Max Hunt, and it was Andrew Boyce who managed to get the initial header, and then on the second phase it was almost David and Goliath. It was Max Hunt, who's 6'7", against little Jason Law, and he shrugged him aside. But like James said, he smashed the centre-half finish into the gardens over the back of the ground. But Scunthorpe on the attack.
Here they come, down that left-hand side, moving it into the middle now as Butterfield and Whitehall just miscommunicate. Tackle comes in, 25 yards out. Ogle got onto the loose ball, but a free kick is given the way of the home side. Max Brogan going over as we tick past a quarter of an hour. Plenty of instructions from the Scunthorpe United bench. Jimmy Dean barking an order or two. The Scunthorpe United fans just in the last 5 minutes, most of them in bobble hats, hoods up, as the wind is taking a little bit of effect here at the Silverland Stadium as we wait for Durnley to take his free kick. The goalkeeper blasting it away, and again just appears to be 5 yards or so too long. Buxton looking to gamble on maybe the little knockdowns and winning the second balls high up the pitch, as they have it in the middle of the Scunthorpe half with Brogan. Now over by McCourt, and a little bit of a communication breakdown between that occasion Jake Wright and Connor Brown. They tried to slide it over to their left-hand side as Walker makes his way over into the left wing position. Scunthorpe United with a long throw in by Regan Ogle, flick one by Whitehall with the aid of Hunt. Another side-footed clearance forward, contact made on the edge of the area. Jake Wright staying down momentarily. I don't know if you saw it on social media, Lee. Did you see Spennymoor versus Buxton last game, and Jake Wright's theatrical diving in his remnition of what he perceived to be a foul?
He did. He's a lively character, Jake Wright. I worked with him when I was at Sheffield United under Nigel Adkins. He was in the youth team coming through, as was Connor Brown, hence the Sheffield United links that they have here at Buxton. But he works hard, as Jake Wright. He's a bit of a pest. He's one of those that gets under your skin, you know. He rolls around. He often will go down under pressure, but it's all a little bit of gamesmanship. At the moment, the game's really settled into fairly non-event. A shot at both ends from either side at the moment is about the highlight of the game. But again, I would imagine that Jimmy's reasonably pleased with the way that we started the game in terms of controlling the tempo of the game and not being forced into going long too often, as the Buxton game's plan is very much to go long and direct and try and work Will Evans and Andrew Boyce.
Well, Wright gets grappled to the ground, and right on cue after what we've just been saying about him, he's inviting the referee over just to examine how Will Evans was still on top of him, standing over him. Jake Wright trying to appeal as much as he can. Jimmy Dean, the manager in the technical area, and he's wrapped up for winter as well. He's parading a claret and blue bobble hat. Have they been flying off the shelves nicely, Mr. Turnbull?
Well, they will do now, won't they? It's a great advert, isn't it? The manager wearing one, but yeah, the merchandise in the shop is flying off the shelves, and as you're probably aware, our market stall is open in Scunthorpe this afternoon, so a little plug.
Cheeky plug. Free kick goes Scunthorpe United's way, and they'll try and take it quickly. There was a moving ball, however, in the near the halfway line. Whitehall trying to get back up and play Scunthorpe in behind an advanced back four of Buxton. 18 minutes gone. Regan Ogle just getting a word or two from Andy Butler on this near side. Good to see him back amongst the action, of course, back in the team after recovering from injury, as Ogle on halfway tries to dance around Walker, and now he'll try and take McCourt with him before trying to play a little ball in field, searching that time for Law. He'll take second prize of a throw-in down this near touchline as Scunthorpe make their way into Buxton's final third. Regan Ogle taking his time with this one, just looking for that spark to open this game up. Regan Ogle across into the penalty area, looking for Danny Whitehall, headed out that time by Minahan. Scunthorpe are going to try and keep it up in the final third with a little bit of head tennis. Denton trying to play it through first time into the penalty area. Josh Granite swinging his right boot at the ball and just sending it soaring away from the Buxton half. But that was a sign there that both teams are quite happy to not take any touches and just try and let the ball do all the movement as Evans floats one from the defensive lines up towards Law. He's going to struggle to keep it in play on the corner flag on the far side, but instead of a goal kick it will be a throw-in. So Jason Lawley back in the team today in the Jimmy Dean's one change. And really tactically, what do you think Jimmy has seen, and what have you made of Jason so far this season?
Yeah, again, I think Jason had a slow start coming in later on in pre-season, playing a little bit of catch-up, finding his feet a little bit, and obviously there was one or two players ahead of him initially, but yeah, really, really good attitude, excellent professional, works hard every day, and again, talented footballer when he's in possession with that left foot, playing on the opposite side, so often drifts from out to in, but retains possession really well, and he's grown with the team as the team have this season. So Jason Law is progressing really well, and again, you look at the balance of the side, and I think Jimmy's got it right with Connor Smith on the right hand side, on the left hand side I should say, and Jason Law on the right hand side.
Another free kick given in a game which really is struggling to materialise full chances. No wonder it is Buxton 0, Scunthorpe United 0 after 20 minutes, as Durnley will wander out of his penalty area, and right-footed will clear this one away. It's a long searching ball forward which will be collected now by Butterfield on halfway. Danny Whitehall looking to try and keep it in play as slightly distracted at the moment by a certain Mr. Turnbull. He is. Well, you're growing the beard for it. Hey, that's a positive. Hey, don't take that negatively. Throwing chocolates all over the place.
Absolutely. Curry in favour, James, that's what it is.
Scunthorpe United in the meantime have a goal kick. We're getting distracted because, to be honest, not a lot's really happening on the pitch at the moment, so Mr. Turnbull is being his charitable self and donating to the stand, which is well accommodated here at Silverland Stadium. In the meantime, there is a football match going on, and Buxton are in possession. They move into the final third with Walker across from the left-hand side. Doesn't beat the first man, as Boyce, his first touch was a bit of an awkward one. It saw the ball move towards the byline, so he clears out for a throw-in. Connor Brown has the ball in hand. He's not got really many players around him in navy blue shirts to target, so he'll throw towards the 18-yard line, in which Jake Wright will try and control, and then tries to swivel a ball back out wide again for Walker, whose feet, despite it being on 3G, looked like they were stuck in the mud. He didn't move as Scunthorpe United have another throw. Not really much at all for the Buxton fans to get encouraged by in these early stages, as we've played about a quarter of the afternoon. Darker clouds seem to be swarming around the Silverland Stadium as well. Walker down this left-hand side, battling away his Law, and then Ogle will come in and add that second layer of protection, wins the ball on the touchline. Boyce tries to clear away, doesn't get too much distance on it, a good 20 yards or so. Brown heads from the touchline as possession exchanges very quickly. Brown tackled by Law, but the ball sticks to the bootlaces of Brown, up towards Jake Wright, can't control it cleanly. Clunan will try and clear. Then Butterfield in midfield wanting to try and get the ball down so that he can start moving. And then Buxton again with McCourt this time, trying to play the ball in behind the defence, the diagonal to the right-hand side, but more often than not, Lee, it's just not picking for them, that method.
No, it's not. You know, they are a direct side and they are trying to force the issue in behind our full-backs and wide centre-half positions, but it's the level, you know, the level that we're at in this National North. There's a distinct lack of quality sometimes in the final third, and I think that's probably why we are top of the table. We have shown some quality in the final third in games, but coming away from home on a difficult surface, it's never going to be easy, and I don't think there'll be many goals in this game, but at the moment it's fairly cagey.
Well, Scunthorpe United on the move. Butterfield in a central midfield position, looking to just curve the ball out wide towards Regan Ogle, but he's unsuccessful. It will be a throw-in. Those dark clouds coming over, and it's making the pitch look incredibly dark, and I've just peered below the roof. The floodlights aren't even on yet, as Regan Ogle will throw the ball in, headed away by the Buxton defence, gathered by Clunan. Clunan through towards Law. Law's touch was strong, but Scunthorpe United knitting it together. Scales 20 yards out, fancies a strike. It'll be deflected, and then the ball actually digs its teeth into the 3G surface and took a very awkward spin. Worked in Durnley's favour, but just deceived Whitehall, who was 5 yards to the right or so of where the ball pitched following that block. So again, Scunthorpe United probably having the cleaner opportunities whenever the ball does go into the final third. Buxton, on the other hand, with a throw-in over on the far side, just towards halfway, just past it. It's been pretty simple stuff to deal with from a Scunthorpe United point of view so far, as Minahan has the ball in his hands over on the far side. He will throw it down the line, little flick, but easy enough for Evans to deal with. Whitehall collects on halfway, tries to flick the ball back in field, and easily gathered once again on that occasion by Buxton. It's McCourt in a temporary left-back position, exchanging passes with Sam Hunt. Butterfield pressurising, so too is Whitehall. Ball goes back towards Durnley. Ball over on the far side with Granite. He will be forced to clear away. Denton on the halfway line, heads in field. Law now, he'll try and nod the ball down. Butterfield, can he turn away from his marker? Almost successful, and then Buxton see Fitzsimmons stationed near the penalty spot, and they see that as a green light to have a go from near enough halfway. I have to say, without wishing to come across as too harsh on Buxton, but they look very limited so far in this game, Lee.
Yeah, there's not a lot of goal-mouthed action at either end, really. I think we are probably the side that have had the most possession in the game without creating a lot. Buxton very workmanlike, trying to get in our faces, trying to unsettle us, but not a lot really going on in the game, which probably suits us a little bit more. As I said at the start of the game, you know, Buxton will occupy a low block and be difficult to break down, and especially at home, not really showing too much endeavour to try and crack our back line. But yeah, half an hour gone in the game, 0-0. You'd probably take that. If we go into half time and it's 0-0, I think we're probably going to be the side in the second half that probably have got the opportunities and the talent and the quality in the final third to pinch a goal. But very tight at the moment, tight affair.
And it's still 0-0 here at Silverlands, 27 on the clock, and the Scunthorpe United fans on the far side standing at the moment very calmly taking it all in. The only stand which isn't fully housed this afternoon is the one away to our left hand side where the Buxton fans are. This level of football, the 6th tier, no segregation. been told after the game the Scunthorpe United fans will have to stay behind, so once we speak to Jimmy Dean, I imagine there might be a little bit of an audience as well, as Fitzsimmons in his penalty area in green clears the ball just hanging up a little bit in the wind, and a header won in midfield by Buxton means Wright can come forward on 18-yard line, tries to play to Walker, broken up temporarily, back with Jake Wright, and he sent that ball flying away from Fitzsimmons' goal, high and wide. And full marks to the ground staff here putting that fencing up beforehand, because there was a conservatory that was about to have its window smashed. 0-0.
Yeah, Buxton have had 3 or 4 opportunities from distance. They haven't worked Ross Fitzsimmons, but they've managed to get shots off, which again will be a concern to Jimmy there. He's just stood with Andy Butler in the technical area, trying to get us to play out a little bit more, and Ross Fitzsimmons, as we know, with his distribution, can certainly launch attacks from deep positions with his fantastic distribution. But I must say, it's a great effort from the Scunthorpe United travelling army today. 500 or 600 of them on the far side away from us today, and it's a fantastic effort all the way up to Buxton, week before Christmas, well, a couple of days before Christmas, so excellent from the Scunthorpe fans.
Whitehall picks up a loose ball in the middle of the Buxton half, holds on to it as he rides one challenge, then gets nudged over on the edge of the penalty area. Buxton try and clear away, and the referee appears to have a titanium torso, because he's just taken it full on and appears to be absolutely unharmed by it. Referee Sean Taylor has the ball in hand now, and the man in black is trying to put a brave face on things. It'll be a drop ball. Took it full square in the stomach, and it was a low blow, Mr. Turnbull. It was, but
On a cold day as well. God bless him. Bless him. He'll be having sprouts with his dinner on Christmas Day, don't we?
If you didn't quite catch that, Lee saying to me that it will be still having his sprouts on Christmas Day. Doesn't look like he's been having too much in the way of confectionery going into this one. He's got himself in good shape and moving around the pitch well, as an offside decision is given away on that occasion. So half an hour gone, and both keepers so far tested on one occasion, both spilling the ball, which has created the only real drama that we've seen so far this afternoon, as yet again Buxton playing a long diagonal, which goes sailing out of play for a throw-in. Denton in the left-back position will throw in towards Clunan, who's battling away, but he might give away a free kick, potentially. Not given by the referee, as Max Brogan came in to try and take the ball off him. They got in a tangle. Denton, nice switch over towards Regan Ogle. Buxton's manager imploring his players to make sure they shuffle, as Ogle, inverted from right back, plays to Law. Law will now head back towards Boyce on halfway, stands up a ball up to Whitehall. He can chest it down comfortably into the feet of Scales. Scales now to Smith, who tries to offload it to Jason Law, comes to Ogle. Ogle trying to burst into the penalty area. Law now, lots of traffic in front of him. He's trying to find a pass. Ogle, Butterfield to the right of the penalty area. He's going to wait for Ogle to come back into a good position, sets the cross in. Couple of headers from Buxton, they clear their lines. Clunan is going to jog back into position and allow Jake Wright to take the ball as they try and play in their right winger, Motley Henry. But Scunthorpe United have the ball back calmly in their defence with Michael Clunan. They nearly broke down the Buxton defence. They could do here. There's a long ball forward looking for Cian Scales. Granite is there to win the first contact. Scales out towards the far side touchline, plays it back to Denton. Denton to Clunan in the middle of the Buxton half. Plays now to Law on the edge of the penalty area right side, trying to drag it in. Brown just loses his footing, and the referee sees that as a free kick. Looked a little bit soft in my opinion, but the referee has given it. But again, we just see, just momentarily there, Lee, just a little burst from Scunthorpe United. They get the scent of a loose ball, and they show, as they have done in weeks gone by, that they can take advantage of those chances most of the time.
Yeah, it was a good couple of minutes, wasn't it, for the Iron, you know, trying to probe down both flanks, Regan Ogle being prominent, Jason Law being prominent, just couldn't get a shot off. You know, there was 3 or 4 bodies in the box that you're thinking, go on then, let one off, have a shot at goal. But Buxton in defence of them were really solid, got men behind the ball, made it difficult. So again, limited chances, 32 minutes gone in the game, but limited chances in this game at the moment.
Yeah, you could count the number of chances on one hand for both teams as Butterfield gets clattered in the middle of his own half. Sean Taylor, today's referee, just blowing his whistle. No harm done, no aggro from either team as Scunthorpe now try and play just around the back a little bit, wanting to try and coax out the Buxton midfield as they now pass smartly, and Whitehall, neat turn away from Hunt. He can run here towards the penalty area, but standing in his way that time was Josh Granite, who's now under pressure to get the ball away because Motley Henry is close by. But that's good counter pressing by Scunthorpe United. You can hear the Iron fans on the opposite side of the ground, encouraged by Butterfield, Law and Ogle, all pressing together on that occasion to now get a throw in as the ball enters the penalty area from the throw-in. Gathered easily enough though by Buxton. Their clearance is a poor one. Ogle 30 yards out, a scooped ball to find Law. Now battling away is Cian Scales. He will charge down the attempted clearance that time by Buxton, and it will go out over on the far side, and it will be a goal kick rather than a throw-in. But 11 minutes to go before half-time. What would you say, apart from lack of chances, is coming close to stating the obvious in what Scunthorpe need to do, Lee?
Yeah, it's not the prettiest game, is it, in the world, and Cian Scales there, probably the most prominent of our midfield players, pressing high and getting in people's faces. Danny Whitehall, and limited chances again, you know, balls that are going up to Danny, you know, he retains it, he tries to flick it at times, when other times, you know, hopefully he can get it in and be that number 9 that we crave so we can link play. But yeah, fairly ordinary opening 35 minutes to the game, and at the moment it's 0-0.
Well, just as Lee was summarising there, a long ball over the top, tried to find Jake Wright. He connected with it, but he was offside as he flicked his header wide of goal, so it wouldn't have stood anyway. Fitzsimmons will now look to take a quick free kick as he finds Scales in midfield. Now to Denton, who switches it back across towards Boyce. Scunthorpe United, when it's in the defence, look to have a little bit more speed to their passing as Butterfield now spots Scales in a pocket of space. It goes wide now to Smith. He's going to have a little dance towards the penalty area, a little step over or two. Clever ball back out wide to Butterfield. Butterfield then trying to swivel the ball in. The loose ball gathered by Denton, who then tried to, just more than anything like punching style, play the ball into the penalty area. Scunthorpe win it back in the middle of the Buxton half. Now with Law, 2 around him in navy blue, towards Clunan. Clunan going wide towards Regan Ogle as Scunthorpe try and open up Buxton's sitting in midfield, make it very difficult to break down. 0-0 the scoreline. Scales goes back now toward Boyce on the white paint of the halfway line. Scales again, looking for a ball in field, finds Whitehall, wants to turn, will take the second option of playing to Denton, who spots Law, tries to link up with Smith on the 18-yard line. Can't find a way through again, Scunthorpe United. McCourt clears away, bounces past Jake Wright in a tangle with Evans, gets back to his feet quickly. Both were at it, hence why no decision from the referee. Jake Wright going in on Denton over on that far side as Scunthorpe have it in their own penalty area. Ogle looking for a ball out. Butterfield is going to meet it first, reads the game well, immediately gets his head pivoting in both directions as he looks for passing options. The one he chooses is Whitehall, down the line on the right. Whitehall trying to cross in. Granite standing his ground well, clears away. But Scunthorpe just have the opportunity to start recycling and start rebuilding more often than not, as on this occasion it will be Connor Smith. Butterfield trying to turn away from McCourt. A challenge goes in on halfway between Clunan and also Walker, but the ball pops towards Connor Smith, driving through the middle, 20 yards out. Ball comes to Law. Law has the chance to shoot, takes it on. It was a bit of a slow and steady shot along the deck, and diving down to his right-hand side was Dearnley. Second shot on target of the afternoon for Scunthorpe United, but needed to be a bit more power in the effort.
It did indeed, yeah. It was another one of those, wasn't it? We've seen two previous shots, one from Buxton and one from Scunthorpe on target, that just lacked the requisite power to fizz into the back of the net. But good work from Connor Smith, again working from out to in from that left-hand side, linking play, played the ball through to Jason Law on the edge of the box, dropped onto his left-hand side, his favoured left foot, but the shot just lacked power. It was a shot on target, just lacked the power to get into the net. I must say, enormous credit to James, the commentator today. We're working off your phone, mate, aren't we?
We are.
There's no comms here today at Buxton, so if our voices sound a little bit strange, it's because we're working off the phone, aren't we, mate?
We are. We're not calling in from Bucharest in the 1970s, as Scunthorpe United move again. Butterfield brought down in the middle of the Buxton half. Few tackles now flying in. It's getting a bit tasty as a few players go diving in on each other, as now Buxton bring the ball away into the Scunthorpe United half, and it's with Curtis Weston in possession over on the far side. 0-0 the scoreline. We've played close to 39 minutes. Ball floated up towards Jake Wright. He's got Evans all over him, Boyce even, as Evans will now receive the loose ball as he's going to allow it to actually wander out of the penalty area. Invites Denton onto the ball down near his own corner flag. Neat turn to get away, and then he'll play a long ball forward. Shove comes in from Granite, and that will be a free kick. And is the referee now going to brandish the first booking of the afternoon? Last couple of minutes, everything seems to have just spiced up a little bit in the tackling department. It's given the fans something to react off as we approach half-time. Regan Ogle just taking up a position on this near side touchline as Sean Taylor just administers a warning to Josh Granite. He's been caretaker manager once upon a time in these parts, so a true leader. Wonder if he's had a proper old school centre-half mentality, him saying, let's clear it long, shall we?
I thought 100% you were going to use the rock. I thought you were Granite Rock. You missed a trick there, didn't you? Missed a trick. Kean Scales gone down injured as well. That's a couple of times that Kean's felt his ankle, I think. So just an area of concern. But yeah, Granite and Max Hunt, very physical centre-halves up against Danny Whitehall.
And the free kick is launched into the Buxton penalty area, cleared away. But Clunan regathers, trying to chip the ball behind the head of Motley Henry, as Buxton temporarily clear it away. Scunthorpe United's defence not really called upon too much in this first half. Jake Wright and Motley Henry with a very early opportunity for Buxton, as now a throw-in comes in, gathered by Law. Little tackle comes in from him, which seemed once again to be a little bit soft. Just to let you know what's going on elsewhere in the National League North. Peterborough Sports 1, Tamworth 0. So Jimmy Dean's old side are getting the better of Scunthorpe United's neighbours in the table. So as things stand, it'll be a 3-point margin for Scunthorpe United heading into Christmas Day. No goals here, but just in terms of using a boxing analogy, Scunthorpe United seem to just have a little bit more of the centre ring. So they're just preventing Buxton piecing anything significant together, and they're limited to long balls away. Right on cue, they try and play one down the left line. Boyce trying to shield as much as he can spot Regan Ogle, who bumps the ball off Motley Henry, and that will be a throw-in deep inside Scunthorpe United's half. Jimmy Dean just getting a little word or two into Danny Whitehall. It's been one of those afternoons for Danny where he's really having to feed off scraps, and he's trying to pivot and turn as much as he can whenever he does get a touch of the ball. Jake Wright, his striker counterpart, in possession now to Motley Henry, trying to get away from two in white shirts, does so. Then went over on the edge of the area as Jake Wright has no room to find a man in navy blue. Cleared away by Scunthorpe. Out to Connor Brown in the advanced left-back position. Now Motley Henry. They're trying to piece it together. Brown was temporarily in behind the defence. The first time, really, Scunthorpe United have achieved that. Regan Ogle just getting a whack on the back of the head as he tried to put his body on the line as he walks out of the penalty area. He's still clutching it as Play goes on. A throw in on the far side. 2.5 gone, to go even. And Scunthorpe just have a bit of space between the lines of midfield and defence as now they bring it forward. Law now on this near side. Moving it back into the centre with Butterfield to his centre midfield partner in Clunan. Goes wide to Connor Smith. Not the best ball, it was behind him, so he had to backtrack. Now with Evans. Evans on halfway. Back towards Michael Clunan. Got a little nudge after the pass had gone. No advantage given, but Scunthorpe still building as Whitehall is in the left wing position now. He's got Smith for company. Whitehall striking. Took a deflection on the way through, and that's an easy pick up from Durnley, the Buxton goalkeeper. Heading towards the final 2 minutes of the first half, and it's still 0-0 Lee Turnbull.
Yeah, again, a similar situation there, wasn't it, for the Iron, with Danny Whitehall in that left-hand side channel, drops onto his favoured right foot, manages to get a shot on target, but all the sting was taken out of it by the Buxton centre-half with a deflection. But, yeah, listen, it's been a fairly scruffy, fairly ordinary first half. Get to half-time at 0-0, Jimmy will get into him, and hopefully the second half we can go and nick a win.
Motley Henry getting into the game now, the left winger. He can't find anyone in navy blue in the penalty area that time as Scunthorpe United clear their lines once again. Both teams just trying to gain that advantage towards the end of this first half. 0-0 were locked together. Jake Wright just crumples under the weight at that time of Evans. And once again, Jake Wright is, as Lee was alluding to earlier, is just trying to be a bit of a nuisance. He wouldn't let Evans go as he was trying to make it awkward for him to get back to his feet. So a free kick for Buxton inside the Scunthorpe United half. It's to the right of the centre circle on Scunthorpe United's side. I imagine the way that Buxton have been playing, this will be launched towards the penalty area again. Scunthorpe's defence stationed 20 yards out. Takes a bounce on the way through as it was looking for Josh Granite. But it sails away and out of play for a goal kick. And no end product again that time for the home side.
Well, it was a good opportunity for them, wasn't it? You know, they've got some big dominant centre halves. They've got a little bit of power and strength in wide areas and up the top end of the pitch. But yeah, thankfully for us, it floated behind for a Scunthorpe United goal kick. Just about 45 minutes on the clock now, James. I think there won't be too much added time and get in at half time. 3 minutes, there we go.
3 minutes added time.
Yep, 3 minutes to conclude this first half. You can see that time still ticking along as Fitzsimmons just has the ball safe and sound in his penalty area. Takes a little bit of time to pick it up before bowling it out of his own box and sends the ball long and diagonal, looking for Regan Ogle. Laura's close by. Buxton clear their lines. The keeper Durnley wanted to take control of the situation. Hunt wanted to clear it. Ball's coming straight back to him, but an offside flag has gone up. And I just noticed there that Max Durnley just getting in a little bit of an argument with his two centre-halves, Josh Granite and Hunt as well. Just a little lapse in concentration that didn't come to any harm. But I think Buxton's defenders and Buxton's coaching staff will be happy that, in reality, Lee, Scunthorpe United, who have been, you know, punishing teams of late with lots of high numbers on the scoreboard, and they're going to go in at half-time pretty much with Scunthorpe almost in their back pocket because they've only had 2 or 3 reasonable chances in this match.
Yeah, let's have it right, you know, we're top of the table, we're coming to Buxton, it's a big payday for Buxton with a big crowd, and also as well it's a little bit of kind of FA Cup football as it has been with most of the away games this season, almost similar to an FA Cup tie, as I've said. You know, we're kind of the big fish in this league, and we bring a massive travelling support away from home. So both managers, realistically, will probably have a really kind of level view of this first half. Not a lot of action going on. We've probably dominated possession in terms of actually having our foot on the ball and passing the ball and trying to work through the zones, where Buxton a little bit more direct, but 0-0 is probably a fair reflection of the scoreline.
Both teams still battling away. Can Scunthorpe United maybe get one last chance in the final minute of the 3 added on as the ball is in the air around the centre circle? And that looked to be a bit of a nasty kick on Cian Scales, which has brought aggro from both sides. Boyce and Clunan for Scunthorpe United. Jake Wright in amongst it as well. So too with Walker, as Sean Taylor has looked to be. Sean Taylor looks to have the situation under control as we tick into the final seconds of the 3 added on. Sean Taylor, however, might just be about to brandish his first cards of the day, and Jake Wright looks like he's having his name taken. He has been the one who's been probably the most watched by the referee in this first half, and Sean Taylor will indeed brandish the yellow card right on the stroke of half-time. Some boos around us as he went in for a 50-50 challenge with both players in the air on key and scales. So the 3 minutes of added time are now up, but maybe one last chance for Scunthorpe United to lift something into the penalty area. Evans is going to take charge of this, as just from Scunthorpe United's half it will be driven towards the right of the penalty area. Boyce can't win the header. It's out towards Clunan, 30 yards out. Loose pass from him. Motley Henry can now bring the ball away. Tries to get up a turn of pace. The clearance cannons into him off scales. And there we go. That's half-time here at Silverland Stadium. Unsurprisingly, Lee Turnbull, 0-0 is the scoreline. Not a lot of big chances.
No, 0-0's a fair reflection on the game. We've had slightly more possession, and again, the side that are looking to play and looking to get in behind the Buxton rear guard. But yeah, it's been a fairly average first half. Both managers, like I say, will take the positives out of it, that it's a clean sheet. I would imagine that Jimmy wants us more to be on the front foot and to be a little bit more pressing and a little bit more urgency in the final third. But on the surface, against spirited opposition, yeah, 0-0's a fair reflection of the scoreline. Yeah.
Can't argue with Lee there. Half time then at Silverland Stadium. It's Buxton 0, Scunthorpe United 0.
And Grimsby Town trailing 1-0 at home to Harrogate Town. Former lone player Liam Gibson with a goal 4 minutes before the break at Blundell Park in your FM and Freeview match. Let me tell you about what's happening elsewhere across the country. In the Premier League, it is Fulham 0, Burnley 0. Luton Town lead Newcastle United by 1-0. Andros Townsend with a goal, that one at Kenilworth Road. Nottingham Forest 0, AFC Bournemouth 0. Forest down to 10. Bolly has been dismissed at the City Ground, and Tottenham lead Everton by a couple of goals to 0. Richarlison and Son Heung-min with the strikes. The late kick-off in the Premier League is at 5:30 between Liverpool and Arsenal. In the Championship, Blackburn Rovers 1, Watford 0. Leicester 0, Rotherham United 0, Middlesbrough 1, West Bromwich Albion 0, Norwich City 0, Huddersfield Town 0, Plymouth Argyle 1, Birmingham City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Southampton 1, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Cardiff City 0 is the latest scoreline, as is Stoke City 0, Millwall 0, and Sunderland 0, Coventry City 1. In League 1, Barnsley 1, Stevenage 1, John McAtee equalising for the Oakwell club there. Blackpool 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Bolton Wanderers 3, Leyton Orient 0 is the latest scoreline in that one. It is Carlisle United 0, Cheltenham Town 1, Charlton Athletic 1, Burton Albion 0 is the latest. Northampton 0, Oxford 0 at half-time. Portsmouth 1, Fleetwood Town 0. Portsmouth, of course, the leaders in League 1. Reading 1, Wigan Athletic 0, Shrewsbury Town 0, Peterborough United 0, and Wycombe Wanderers 0, Port Vale 0. In League 2, Accrington Stanley 1, Walsall 1, Grimsby Town 0, Harrogate Town 1 in your FM and Freeview match on Saturday Sport here on BBC Radio Humberside. Morecambe 0, MK Dons 1, Sutton United 0, Mansfield Town 1. Stephen Quinn, the former Hull City midfielder, with the goal there. Tranmere Rovers 0, Swindon Town 1, and Wrexham 0, Newport 0. In the National League North, some latest and half-times to tell you about. It is Blythe Spartans 2, Chester 1, that are latest. Boston United 1, Alfreton Town 1. Buxton United 0, Scunthorpe United 0 at the break in our digital and BBC Sounds match this afternoon. Chorley 2, Curzon Ashton 0 is a latest. Darlington 0, Bishop Stortford 1 is also a latest, as is Farsley Celtic 0, Gloucester City 0, Hereford 0, Spennymoor Town 1. And a couple more from the National League North to tell you about. In fact, 4 more games to tell you about. Peterborough Sports 4, Tamworth 0 is the latest, as is Rushall Olympic 1, South Shields 0, Southport 0, Kings Lynn Town 2, and Warrington Town 1, Banbury United 1. A result from the early kick-off, or in fact closing stages, not quite at full time yet. Brackley Town 0, Scarborough Athletic 1. So that is how it's looking up and down the land. In the Premier League's lunchtime match, Manchester United lost 2-0 away at West Ham United. The home side's goals were scored by the ex-Hull City man Jarrod Bowen and Mohamed Kudus in the space of 6 second-half minutes. And afterwards, the United manager Erik ten Hag spoke to our reporter Jonathan Pearce.
How are you feeling? Because it was a decent first half, I think, for Manchester United.
I think decent 72 minutes, where we didn't take our chances. We should have go in the lead, but we didn't. And then one moment of switching off, and then you're following fix.
Garnacho in the first half had several chances. Is there a lack of confidence in there when he gets into the penalty area?
Not on Garnacho. I think his confidence he's in a good form in this moment. But yeah, it's the truth. He was one-on-one with the keeper. He could have taken it. But we didn't. And as I say, we controlled the game. It was a solid performance. And then one moment of switching off, and then you're following the facts.
Talking about positives, you brought in a young boy to make his debut at the back, Camwella. Excellent for a debut.
Yes, definitely. So very good. And we have from the 5 centre backs, 4 are ill or injured, and he steps in, and we trusted him, and I think he proved that he was a trustworthy.
It was a shame for Kobe Manu to make the mistake for the goal, because I thought he'd been excellent, Eric, for you.
Yeah, also he played also a good game, as I think the team played over a long period a good game. But a game is over 96 minutes today, and you have to keep the focus, and of course you have to net.
How disappointed were you with the last 18 minutes, given the fact that when you went behind, there wasn't much sign of a Manchester United comeback?
No, but we tried, but you encouraged the team. Once I think West Ham wasn't running behind us for a long period in the game, and then actually they get the goal, and then of course you encourage the team, and they were from that moment on very aggressive, defending the box, standing deep, and then it's difficult to create a chance. So we should have done that better, but also don't come to the point, the meaning of the first goal.
That's 13 games for you now away from home against top 9 opposition from last season without a win. How worrying is that for you? Is it a worrying trend, or is it just one of those things in football?
In this moment, we are not top, but we have seen last week against the top of this league how we were head to head, and even we could have won that game. Or same issue, we didn't score where we had the best opportunities of the game. There we defended for 90 minutes very good and solid. That has to be always, I think, our standard. Like that, what we did there, and you have to bring that every game on the pitch.
Eric, we come to a new year finally, and we'd all like to press a magic button to change our lives coming to a new year. We'd all like to do that. If you had a magic button to press, what would it be to make Manchester United's 2024 better than 23?
So 23. So we won a cup. Mm-hmm. We played the FA Cup final. We were third in the league. So there were also highlights. But in that moment we were overperforming, but in this moment we are underperforming, and there are reasons for. We have many injuries, so the team will be better if the injuries will return. So we have to stay calm, stick together, stick to the plan, but we have to do it together.
That's Eric Ten Hag under a salmon pink sunset sky here at Blundell Park. Former Grimsby Town midfielder Alan Poughton has just been reintroduced to the Mariners supporters on the Tannoy system. We heard from him, of course, in the first hour here on Saturday Sport. You'll be able to hear that interview with John Tonder on BBC Sounds. We'll be getting back to the action soon. Grimsby Town 0, Harrogate Town 1 and Buxton 0, Scunthorpe United 0. But let's hear from one of the goal scorers in that Premier League lunchtime match. Manchester United 0, West Ham United 2. West Ham's former Hull City winger Jarrod Bowen has been also speaking to Jonathan Pearce.
Jarrod, really well done. Good way to go into Christmas. Had to wait a long time for the goal to come.
Yeah, and it was never going to be, a walking apart for us playing against Man United, a really top side in this league. And then second half, we kept at it, kept plugging away, and got the goal, and then more importantly got the second goal quite soon after, and then made it more comfortable for us going into the last 10 minutes.
Do you think playing through the middle, as you have done recently, you seem to be enjoying it, has helped you in snuffling up that goal? Because the keeper parries the first one. Is that more of a sort of goal poacher's instinct you're learning?
Maybe, or people might say it was luck. But no, I think when I scored that goal, I was playing off the right, and I think that's the flexibility that me, Mo and Lucas, if it's us three up there, we've got kind of interchanging positions. And I was out on the right, received it, played it to Lucas, and it was a lovely ball over the top. And then it was just about trying to keep my nerve, and it fell to me to pull it away. So like I said, I think if it's me, Lucas and Mo, we're really interchangeable and not kind of predictable for the opposition to mark us out the game, so to speak.
Because when you've got a deadlock game like that, to have Lucas Paquetá in the side, I mean, that's a fantastic ball for you for that goal.
Yeah, like I said, it was world class. And yeah, we knew it was going to be a difficult game. I think it was that first goal. First half they caused us a few problems, but I think we had a few chances ourselves as well. And I think the game was just needing that first goal, whether it was going to be us or them. Thankfully for us, we got it, and then, like I said, went on to get the second and held on for a really good clean sheet and a really good 2-0 victory. I
think whatever the manager said to you at half time had more of effect on you than what their manager said to them. What did David say to you?
Just keep plugging away, really. Pick our moments to try and win the ball back higher at the pitch, and ultimately I think this group's got really good characters. Just keep digging away, keep chipping away, and making it uncomfortable for the opposition. I think we've done that, and and it's about showing the quality when we do get those chances. And like I said, Lucas's pass was a real bit of quality to me.
And important to blow away the sort of miserable memories, if you like, of midweek at Anfield.
Yeah, no, listen, that wasn't. We want to forget that as soon as possible. We had to face up to it. We went out there and put out a poor performance, and ultimately got done by 5 goals. So today was really important. We knew going into Christmas and what it would do for us in the league, going into the next 2 really big games as well. We knew we had to win this game, and we wanted to win this game, and it's pushed us back up the table again. Into
6th as we stand at this moment in time. Are you a genuinely competitive top 6 side, do you think, now?
I think it's hard to say. I think we want to be the top 6 sides, but I think you look at the top 10 in the Premier League this season, it's probably the most open it's ever been, with teams coming in. And you look at Aston Villa, I don't know where they went from last night's game, but even they're in the top 4, and you've obviously got Brighton at the top side, Chelsea at the top sides, and even below that you've got Brentford and Fulham's that are really, really good sides as well. So I think it's really open. All we can do is win our games, but of course we want to be in that top 6 minimum for sure.
And I think that's 13 for you this season, and I think you're now 4th in West Ham's all-time Premier League goal scoring charts. Could be wrong on that, but I think I'm right. And what would you have said about that if I'd said that at the start of the season?
To be honest, I wanted to score. I don't think I've scored against Man United, so that's always a thing. Someone might be able to do the research, but I don't feel like I have. So obviously today I wanted to score, but I want to score every game. I'm started the season well, and I just want to keep those levels consistent and consistently try and put in good performances and get goals to add to it as well.
Kofi Smiles at breakfast.
BBC Radio Humberside.
But do you know what is really important? It's what they put on between Boxing Day and New Year's Day, isn't it? Nobody knows what time it is, nobody knows what day it is.
I mean, personally, to be honest, I actually like Boxing Day myself. Boxing Day is Gin Jam Day. You can stay indoors, Gin Jam Day, and just catch up with everything you want. Sit there with your plate of mince pies, get your buffet table out, and that's it. Just sit there and munch.
Kofi Smiles at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Humberside.
BBC Radio Humberside Sport.
Teams back out and underway here at Blundell Park. They've just kicked off in the last 10 seconds, so John Tonder will resume on 95.9 FM and Freeview 721, with the Mariners chasing the game and 1-0 behind at home to Harrogate, whilst Scunthorpe United are 0-0 at Buxton. We'll split our frequencies now, so if you want the Eye in this afternoon, you'll need to be on digital and BBC Sounds, whilst John and Gary Croft will pick up on FM and Freeview.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome back to Silverlands. We are just waiting for the teams to re-emerge. So let's give you a quick summary of what happened. And when I say quick, it will be quick because virtually nothing happened, really. The first chance of the game, Buxton had down to our left-hand corner. There was a ball hit over the top, which Motley Henry then tried to grab a rebound on after Fitzsimmons had spilled Jake Wright's initial chance. And that's the closest that Buxton have come this afternoon to scoring. Scunthorpe United have had to really huff and puff to get the ball anywhere near Buxton's penalty area because their midfield is sitting so deep. But the best chance is coming from Jason Law, managing to hit the target. Danny Whitehall tried to recycle a parried shot from Connor Smith earlier on too. But really, that is all there is to write home about as we await the teams here at Silverlands Stadium. All the players and substitutes are still bibbed up, passing the ball around at the moment. And I'll reintroduce Lee in just a moment, but I have to say it doesn't appear like there will be any substitutions at half-time for either team because all the substitutes who have been named this afternoon are still out there. Just to recap who is on the bench for Scunthorpe United, we have Michael Kelly, Max Kewigan, Danny Elliott, Cameron Wilson and Finn Shrimpton. Scunthorpe United just re-emerging now, but I'll get a quick thought of what needs to be done in the second half from Lee.
Yeah, listen, I think a 0-0 away from home at a difficult opponent at half-time. I think Jimmy would have went in reasonably pleased. We've had more possession than Buxton, but again, the second half will be about being resilient, making sure that we do keep a clean sheet, which, again, we've been really good at this season. You know, the defensive unit, including Ross Fitzsimmons, has been really solid. It was never going to be an open game. I think Buxton will always make it difficult with the low block and sitting deep and playing direct when they do get the ball. But one good chance, that's all we need. One good chance, see the whites of the keeper's eyes, and hopefully we can finish this game with 3 points. But at the moment, if you're asking me 0-0, I'd take 0-0 right now.
It would halt the winning run that Scunthorpe United are going after. It would be the first time since 2019 when they won 5 games in a row. Just to give you an idea of who was playing up front that afternoon for Scunthorpe United, the likes of Ivan Turney, Paddy Madden, Gary McSheffrey were all in the claret and blue of Scunthorpe United at some point. So we're just waiting for Max Dernley to get a little scoot along as he jogs away towards what is now a completely deserted end. The Buxton fans have made their way down to the Marshall's Terrace, which is away to our right-hand side. So all the noise from the home areas will be coming from that end in this second half. Most of the Scunthorpe United fans housed away bang in front of us, as Lee was making a point of earlier. Around 600 or so have journeyed from Lincolnshire here to the Peak District, or just outside the Peak District. Just peering over into the car park, I'm delighted to say that my car has not swam away after earlier conditions. Did feel like I could have canoed here this morning, but we're all set. No changes then for either team at half-time. Quick run through to recap. Scunthorpe United, they've got Fitzsimmons in goal today, Ogle, Boyce, Evans and Denton across the back, Scales, Law, Clunan, Butterfield, Connor Smith knitted together in midfield, Danny Whitehall playing primarily as the lone striker. So here we go then, we're back underway for this second half. Can Scunthorpe United grind out a performance to go and get 3 points in this second 45? Time will tell. They're going to win the first throw-in of the second half as Buxton tried to play long from their kick-off. Regan Ogle on the far side touchline sends the ball flying, chested down comfortably by Danny Whitehall, and there will be a free kick. Jason Law just got his ankle tapped, and Sean Taylor, the referee, making a point right at the start of this second half to brandish a yellow card for Curtis Weston, which I have to say, Lee, looked a little bit harsh because there's no maliciousness in it.
No, fairly harsh. I think he committed the foul and then he booted the ball away. So by the letter of the law, obviously, it's a yellow card. But good position for us here. 30 yards out on an angle. I don't think it's a shooting opportunity, although Danny Whitehall is hovering over the ball. I would think it's probably just a little bit too far out, but good position.
It's nice to know that your bins are working better than mine, by the way, Lee. So this free kick, 35 yards out plus, just to the right of centre. The Scunthorpe United players meshed together with the Buxton defenders, about 20 yards away from Dearnley's goal line. Still some of the fans around us making their way back into their seats as well. Coffee and tea is the drink of choice tonight in these cold conditions as the free kick comes in. And it's well over hit on that occasion. You're smiling, Lee, but I think you're pretty down inside at that one.
Just wincing a bit, yeah. You know, Jacob Butterfield's got great quality, but that was overhit, unfortunately, and it's out for a Buxton goal kick. But it was a good opportunity, you know. Again, Andrew Boyce and Will Evans are powerful with Danny Whitehall in the box. But yeah, overhit from Butterfield, unfortunately.
Just a couple of minutes into the second half. 0-0 is the scoreline at the moment. Dearnley will give this a good heave-ho with the right foot. It will go above us, above the roof, comes to rest just inside their own half, Buxton. That looks to be a high boot by Jake Wright as he was challenging for the ball. Play goes on, however. Clunan out wide with Law. Moved back towards Butterfield, who's trying to scamper down the right. In comes the cross, bounces at the feet of Max Hunt, who clears. Butterfield immediately tries to get Scunthorpe United back on the ball, does so as his header is nodded into the path of Cian Scales. Buxton win it once again, though, as possession changes hands pretty quickly. Minahan on this right back position, playing down the line towards Walker, trying to flick it down the line, but it's going to trickle out of play for a throw-in. Denton will take it. There's only one player high up the pitch pressurising, that is Jake Wright, as Evans has plenty of time to assess his options, goes looking for the right-handed long ball, but not to be. And now Buxton are in behind as Motley Henry in the left wing position can move into the penalty area. Jake Wright was close by, but easily hoovered up by the Scunthorpe United defenders, who were getting back in shape. Buxton win again on halfway. Loose ball through the middle, gathered by Walker. Walker with his back facing his own goal. Now with Brogan. Brogan down the right-hand side finds Minahan. Two around him in white shirts pressurising, so he's forced back to McCourt, who's a couple of yards away from the halfway line. Ball tempted to be lifted down the channel. Jake Wright is going after it. He's on a yellow card, of course, so he won't be flying in on Denton there, who watches the ball just slowly but surely make its way over the byline. Looking at the bench, Lee, if Jimmy Dean and his coaching staff are going to go for an early change, if they feel that some players are on borrowed time at the start of this second half, where do you think he's most likely to change?
I think quite often, you know, Danny Elliott will come on and replace Danny Whitehall, a like-for-like substitution, but also with options like Cam Wilson, who can play either side or as a number 10. And it might just suit Cam Wilson on this surface. You know, he's got a yard of pace as Cam, just lacking a little bit of confidence at the moment, but he's a player that certainly can be a game changer if he's on it.
See what materialises. Lee Turnbull alongside me this afternoon here on your DAB and online coverage on BBC Radio Humberside. If you are looking for Grimsby Town, you can tune in on 95.9 FM as they were trailing at half-time against Harrogate. We're 5 minutes into the second half. Still no change in scoreline from when we kicked off in the sunshine. It is Minahan, who's advanced up into a right wing position. He's trudging back towards his own halfway line with a bit of a stutter as well, as he has to see his attempted through ball blocked by Connor Smith. It's Josh Granite. Granite will heave the ball forward up towards Jake Wright. He can head the ball down nicely. It's out towards the corner flag now. He's all alone at the moment. Minahan in support now. Gets the ball off Walker. He delivers a ball into the area, headed out though by Scunthorpe. Comes to the feet of Scales nicely, and he's got the opportunity here to really motor forward as he breaks away and drifts right. Past the halfway line he goes. Clunan offering a passing option. Neat ball by Law, and Scunthorpe United can unlock the Buxton defence. Ball into the area. Whitehall just arrives a little too late, didn't slide in at it at the back post. Neat pass from Law, completely takes the full-back out of the game, just sadly no end product. Buxton 0, Scunthorpe United 0 after 51 minutes.
Yeah, brilliant play there from Cian Scales. You know, he's probably been our outstanding performer on the day today. His energy is boundless. You know, he breaks the lines. He was overlapping there in a wide right area. Fizzed a great ball across the 6-yard box, waiting to get tapped in, but too much pace on the ball. But excellent performance so far by Cian.
Whitehall looking for his 14th goal of the season today. We'll go side by side at the top of the goal scoring standings. It would be his most prolific season to date if he was to accomplish such a feat. Most of his goals coming when he was playing in college football in the United States, but currently 13 goals across league and cup is his highest tally with Eastleigh. As Buxton try and play the ball wide, it's going to run out of play for Motley Henry. Scunthorpe United look like they've got somebody warming up down the left-hand side. Whitehall is judged to be offside. He was offside by a good margin, even though he's shouting a bit of frustration at linesperson Seri Williams. Yeah, I thought you could have put the team bus between it, to be honest.
Yeah, there was no fine margins there, I don't think. But, you know, just looking at the structure of the side at the moment, going back to your point, what changes can Jimmy make if he was forced into it, or he was looking maybe around the hour mark on freshening it up? I do think it could be a day for Danny Whitehall with his pace in behind. Definitely an option for Jimmy. Not sure that he'll play him and Danny Whitehall together, but I do think Danny Elliott's pace on this surface might just be the key to unlocking the Buxton defence.
We await the tactical changes as Scales collects in the Buxton half, immediately plays towards Law. What a chance now for Cian Scales. Shot at goal, goes wide of the target, but that is the chance that Scunthorpe United needed, and it is the chance which immediately has got the Scunthorpe United fans behind him now, much more vocal. Driving chance from 20 yards out, goes wide of the target, but that is much more like it.
It is. We've dominated the opening exchanges in the second half. Again, it was Cian Scales driving through the Buxton defence, playing a ball into Jason Law, dropped onto his favourable left foot, but again, just lacked the accuracy to work the goalkeeper. But a lot better, a lot brighter from Scunthorpe. Clearly, Jimmy's got into him at half-time and said, listen, we need to up the tempo a little bit.
Well, he wasn't barking too much in the first half. He's been pacing around quite quietly with the claret bobble hat. You can just constantly see it poking up from behind the dugout as a throw-in now goes Scunthorpe United's way, which Buxton aren't happy about. Sean Taylor has given the decision in favour of the visitors. Denton will throw it in, so this is a chance for Scunthorpe to get into the penalty area. Butterfield battling away with Minahan as they battle and scrap. Butterfield managing to keep the ball at feet despite temporarily being on the deck on the touchline. Denton to Clunan. The ball's going to pop now into the feet of Connor Smith, dribbling away nicely into a central position for Scales. It deflects and actually goes on target, but it's safely pouched by Durnley. Cian Scales certainly getting more and more involved and has a shoot from the hip policy at the start of this second half.
Yeah, he's not prolific as Cian, you know, but good effort on target there. Got a deflection, actually helped the shot, give it a bit more momentum and almost looped over Max Durnley. But Max Durnley's about 9 foot tall, isn't he? He's a big lad, isn't he? So not much chance of it looping over Max Durnley, but good feet from Connor Smith as well to create the opportunity.
6'5" is what he stands. Max Durnley
in his bare feet.
In his bare feet, maybe 6'6" in those studs. Learn to be small ones today. That's a nasty challenge on Cian Scales and Jake Wright, who's already been booked, and it's getting a bit tasty because Minahan has gone challenging Connor Smith, and it's understandable that 6 or 7 Scunthorpe players immediately feel that challenge warrants a second yellow. Sean Taylor, the referee, checking in on the stricken Scunthorpe player. Danny Whitehall has made his way across. Jimmy Dean is fuming on this near side. Sean Taylor, the referee, has got a decision to make. But to me and you, Lee, I think we should be expecting Jake Wright to walk here.
Well, I'm fortunate enough just to have our analyst 5 yards away, and he's just looked at it back and he said to me it's a naughty one. You know, Jake Wright plays on the edge and he's left his foot in there undoubtedly. So by the letter of the law, this is a second yellow. I think he's just going to get a ticking off. The body language of the referee suggests to me he's going to give him a final warning.
He's a very lucky boy if that is the case. Sean Taylor and Jake Wright in conversation together now. Jake Wright really doesn't have too much of a leg to stand on, and you can tell the immediate reaction of the Scunthorpe United players. Ross Fitzsimmons in particular, very vocal. You can see arms being wafted above there in dismay at the moment, the Scunthorpe United players, because they feel Wright should be making his way to turn the taps on for the Bath.
Yeah, and I think justified. You know, he's left one in there on Connor Smith, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Buxton manager changes Jake Wright pretty swiftly, because he is playing on the edge.
Connor Smith speaking to the linesman, and he's having a word on this near side touchline with some of the staff members of Buxton. I think when I put that question to Jimmy Dean later, I think I know what answer will be coming back, and I think he would be correct in the words that he says, as it remains 11 versus 11. It also remains 0-0 at this point, but that is a big talking point potentially later on in this game. Jake Wright on a yellow card, snapping the ankles of Connor Smith, and it was as Lee alluded to, we do have a little bit of luck this afternoon, as we have the analyst with the laptop next to us. We had a quick glance at it. There was no slice of the ball taken. There will be a change as well in a moment. We'll confirm that for you. Fourth official has the staff member has the board raised. No fourth official here today, as Evans will play the ball up to halfway, returned by Buxton. Denton will now play back to Fitzsimmons, who's confident enough to chip the ball forwards. Denton able to just fake the first initial long ball forward as Whitehall holds on to it. Minahan, who's lucky as well to not have got a ticking off from the referee, because he got up close and personal with Cian Scales. As by the looks of things, we will be seeing a change in a moment, but in the meantime Butterfield will now play towards Scales once again, out wide with Regan Ogle, advancing down that right hand touchline more and more, as Butterfield now has the ball in a central position, tries to find Whitehall. The change that's going to happen in a moment will be for Buxton, and Sam Osborne will be making his way on into the game. That change will happen now, and to see who is going to be making way, we await the board. It's actually Sam Walker. So Jake Wright actually staying on the park for now, but just hearing you there, Lee, just in the background there, surprised that Jake Wright isn't coming off.
Absolutely, yeah. I've just looked back at it, the benefit of having the analyst by me today, and there's an argument that it should have been a straight red from Jake Wright. It's gone right down Connor Smith's ankle there, over the top of the ball. I'm really surprised they haven't substituted Jake Wright, because he is right on the knife edge.
Will that possibly play into the benefit of Scunthorpe United later on, though, as Denton gets in a tangle, but the ball pops free, and now a chance for Connor Smith, firstly shifting it onto his left foot, taking the shot on. It's a corner kick, and these now are opportunities for Scunthorpe United to pressurise. The Scunthorpe United fans away to my left hand side, over in the corner near the penalty area, getting really encouraged now by what they're seeing, because Scunthorpe United on the hour mark have a corner kick. Minahan the closest man. There's 5 make it 6 in white shirts inside the penalty area, as the ball is delivered towards the back post over Durnley's head, headed out by Buxton. It trickles away towards left hand side, and Connor Smith is going to shield it out of play for a throw in, and Regal Ogle is being handed the ball. So that long throw in that he's got in his arsenal looks like it's going to be implemented, as there is 4, make it 5 inside the penalty area for this one. Regan Ogle with a run-up, sends it towards the penalty spot, chested down by Hunt. It will be partially cleared Scunthorpe United retaining possession, lifting it back into the penalty area. Header by Boyce, he was outnumbered 2-1, got a good connection, but off target as it goes away from Dearnley's far post. But the last 2 or 3 minutes, that decision, which feels like it's gone against Scunthorpe United, looks to have added some fuel to the fire in the bellies of these Scunthorpe United players, Lee.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, we've been dominant. We're into the 61st minute of the second half. We've been the dominant force in the second half. Andrew Boyce's header there just wide as well. So more attacking prowess from the Iron in this second half. But yeah, I'm a little bit aggrieved as well that Buxton are down to 10 men. But hey ho, we get on with it, don't we?
And bearing in mind, Jake Wright is one of the strikers this afternoon for Buxton, playing as a 2 at the moment with Motley Henry alongside him just for now, as Buxton have a throw-in high up the pitch as they've creaked their way down the left-hand side. The ball with Osborne, the first substitute Buxton have made off the potential 3 we could see. They're moving it back towards halfway, to a bit of frustration from the Buxton fans. They've gone from the corner flag near Scunthorpe United's penalty area, and now they're playing around their own defence as a long ball is sent away, and Denton looks to have an arm round the shoulder by Motley Henry. That will be a free kick. The Buxton fans around us don't like it. Just to bring you up to date with what's happening elsewhere as well, if you're not near the latest scores, Tamworth have equalised away at Peterborough Sports. That was a penalty early in the second half, so it's Peterborough Sports 1, Tamworth 1. It's still 0-0 here as well. Scunthorpe United today with a goal would rack up their fastest half-century of goals in 62 years if they were to find the back of the net. And they are now starting to show some signs of a little bit more attacking pressure as McCourt slips on the ball. Jake Wright also going over on the halfway line as Denton in a left wing position will play to Scales into the final third. Law allowed to turn, plays it into Butterfield, 20 yards out, shoots over the top of the crossbar. Was there a touch? It looks like there was. The referee signals for a corner, but Jacob Butterfield, we know he can score from range. He's got so much experience, and he very nearly gives Scunthorpe United the lead. Corner now.
Yeah, I think Jacob's eyes lit up there, didn't they? Fired it in on target. Great save from the keeper. Corner kick, Scunthorpe.
5 in waiting, and it will be swung in with lots of curve near Boyce, headed by Law, and that one will go behind. Andy Butler putting his hands on his head, so to Jimmy Dean, but I think the bench and some of the fans around us can sense now that Scunthorpe United, after 63 minutes, have started to chip away at some cracks in Buxton's defence. Is it a case of that full-timeness, fitness-wise, in a busy December calendar? Is that now starting to maybe tell a tale as well, as Buxton, who have heavily invested in this summer, had a few players come and go. They're starting their rotations of what they think they need to get into the top half of the table. Scunthorpe United sitting top of the tree as the ball is with Connor Smith in a temporary left-back position. Plays to the full-back Denton, who's found Scales down the left-hand side. Gets it down and controlled into the penalty area. Ball pops behind Connor Smith. He's 6 yards out, shoots. Only finds a man in navy blue in front of him. Whitehall tries to keep the motion going. Whitehall loses his footing inside the penalty area, feels he was pulled to the floor. Buxton clear away. Jake Wright trying to scamper and pressurise Boyce. 64 minutes gone, Lee, and now the game is starting to open up. This is what football fans and ourselves crave.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, with the dominant side, we're on the front foot. We're getting both full-backs high up the pitch, getting Connor Smith and Jason Law in good positions behind Danny Whitehall. Just need a goal.
And here comes Ogle. Decent looking ball in. Headed behind by Connor Smith on that occasion. Ogle actually rode a challenge down the right-hand touchline just as Lee was speaking there, and he whipped in a really decent delivery. But now it feels like we're having to crane our necks to our left-hand side more often than not, because Scunthorpe United, just in the last 5-10 minutes, are cranking up the pressure. Dearnley taking his time and ushering his defence away. Doesn't appear to be a sign of a second change for Buxton, but one or two Scunthorpe United substitutes now going through their paces on the touchline as Dearnley goes for that long ball away, headed by Boyce in the centre circle, comes to rest at the feet of McCourt. Long ball forward, not dealt with. Motley Henry 18 yards out, can only find a wall of white in front of him. Minahan picks up the loose ball on halfway. Scunthorpe United got behind the ball quickly on that occasion, but Buxton now trying to show their hand of attack as they try and find Motley Henry down the right wing. They fail in that endeavour. Minahan now tracking back in as Denton lifts the ball over his head. Whitehall across the near touchline. We'll ask the question of if it should be a Scunthorpe United throw-in. The answer's no. There will be a change coming up in a moment as Minahan will throw the ball in short. Whitehall's got to pressurise. Header by Motley Henry goes back towards Minahan, hits the shoulder blades of Smith as the ball travels through the air, lands at the torso of Boyce. Butterfield turns on halfway as it gets a bit scrappy in the midfield and the ball is zipping this way and that. McCourt trying to chip a ball down the line, runs out of room, and Jake Wright, I don't know how, but Jake Wright actually went over again there. He's enjoying being on this artificial surface. I'll have to check his knees and his thighs and his shins from all them carpet burns later on for the amount of times he's been on the floor. Butterfield, what a lovely turn that is now, and Scunthorpe United moving through the middle. Butterfield, did he hang on for it for too long? He eventually plays it wide. This is a chance now with Law in the penalty area. Two around him in navy blue. He can pull the trigger, blocked, and out towards Clunan. Clunan gathers. Butterfield once again, 25, maybe 30 yards out in the centre, trying to work room. Plenty around him in white shirts. He finds Connor Smith, wide to Law. Law just inside the penalty area. Low ball played in. Whitehall was the target. Easily gathered by Buxton, and then Law just clatters into his man. Clever play from the Buxton defender, saw him coming. Buxton are going to be the team to make the changes in a moment, and they're going to go on with George Horbury, and he is the Harrogate loanee who was here for a month and has had it extended, and Tommy Elliott will be coming on too for Buxton as they make all three changes before Jimmy Dean has even shown his hand yet. But at the minute, 22 minutes to go, Scunthorpe United and their fans will be encouraged by what they're seeing. Yeah, with the dominant side in the second half, and we created one or two half chances. Jacob Butterfield's effort from 20 yards, good save from Max Dearnley, the Buxton keeper. But yeah, we're just cranking up the pressure now, as you said and pointed out quite rightly so. Maybe it's the full-time status of us against the part-time team in Buxton. They're trying to get some more energy on in the middle of the park, because Butterfield, Clunan and Scales have absolutely dominated that area in the second half. Just need a goal. The change is made, and coming off was Jack McCourt and Jake Wright. So they've decided to now bring off a man through a substitute who, to pretty much everyone in a Scunthorpe United corner, will feel should have been sent off earlier. 21 minutes to go. Jimmy Dean and his coaching staff have not blinked yet from the bench as it gets really scrappy in the midfield, but Buxton come away with it after a couple of challenges. Connor Brown just getting a bit of an accidental stamp, I think, as players were diving in to try and prize away the ball. Back it goes towards Dearnley. Dearnley now to Josh Granite. Charging in was Cian Scales. He's done exceptionally well with that press, timed it to perfection. Gives Scunthorpe United a throw in now towards the final third. Denton with the ball in hand. He's looked assured on this left-hand side today, holding on to it as he now finds the feet of Cian Scales. Cian Scales has had two long-range efforts in this second half. Denton going for an ambitious switch as the ball goes into the penalty area at the back post. Now, did that come off a Buxton defender last? It did. Dearnley's not happy about it, the Buxton goalkeeper. But the corner decision is what's being given. And Scunthorpe United, the Iron, looking to break the deadlock. And they really are starting to hammer away now on Buxton's goal line as in comes the delivery. Butterfield swings it in, looking for the head of Boyce. Towering up there strongly was Curtis Weston. The ball's going to run out of play on this near side touchline for a throw in Scunthorpe United's way. Connor Smith is going to leave this for Regan Ogle to deliver. Ogle has got plenty of run-up room on this near side. Good 3 yards to work with as he will launch it towards the 6-yard line. It's a free header for Buxton, comes back to Ogle on the corner of the penalty area, sends the cross into the area, curving, landed at the feet there of Boyce, into the area. Boyce now on the byline, resets, plays towards Connor Smith. He's pivoting, he's turning, sets the cross in towards the back post. Whitehall now trying to hit it on the swivel. Buxton can't get rid of it. It comes to Evans. Oh, what a shot, but what a miss as well. And the whole press area was up on their feet thinking the net was about to bulge, but Evans caught it sweet as a nut, but wide of the post from 15 yards. You get the feeling, Lee, there's a goal coming.
We've done everything but score, haven't we, James? You know, pressure there, second balls, trying to scramble an effort on target, 2 or 3 crosses that went in and out, and their keepers managed to try and get something on it. Their centre-backs have thrown the bodies at it. Then Will Evans has a chance, smashes one from the penalty spot. We're just behind one of those lovely pylons that we can't see the near post. I'm expecting the net to ripple. Unfortunately, you never, but it's all Scunthorpe United at the moment. Just need a goal.
Don't go moaning about the architecture, Mr. Turnbull. As Scunthorpe United with Whitehall on his back is Max Hunt. Connor Smith now trying to just give Scunthorpe United their next attack. Him and Scales have been so influential in this second half, as the ball will go behind by Horbury, the substitute midfielder for Buxton. Glancing there means another throw-in goes Scunthorpe United's way. Denton has the ball in hand, and he will throw it in short towards Michael Clunan, trying to fend off his near marker. Denton pushes it through towards the skipper, now gathered by Butterfield on the corner of the penalty area left side. He's trying to run towards the byline, pushes it to Smith, draws 2 Buxton players away. Smith into the area, shoots at goal over the top of the crossbar. Another shot chalked up for Scunthorpe United in this second half. They're hammering and hammering away. They just can't hit the target often enough. 73 gone, Buxton 0, Scunthorpe United 0.
Yeah, absolutely one-way traffic in it, James. Connor Smith there again, coming in from the left-hand side on his favoured right foot. I'm expecting him to bend it into the top corner, just over the bar, but it's all Scunthorpe United now.
And again, the goal kick is a poor one from Buxton. A piercing ball down the middle, but Scunthorpe United winning the midfield battles now from these restarts. Denton hooking the ball over his shoulder to find Whitehall in the Buxton half, trying to cushion it down. Finds Connor Smith with those tricky feet, trying to push it through towards Scales. But now it's Buxton's turn to try and break away. On the turn on that occasion was Tommy Elliott, but he just can't take the ball with him, as Buxton, as we alluded to in the first half, have looked pretty limited this afternoon. They would be very grateful with a point, you would imagine, given how things are going now. A throw-in for Buxton deep in their own half. I think there's some activity beginning to materialise on Scunthorpe United's bench, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, as we've got 16 minutes and then whatever stoppage time will be given. There'll be a couple more added on, given the foul by Jake Wright, which saw him use his get-out-of-jail-free card 2 days before Christmas Day as well.
Very true.
You a Monopoly man, Lee?
Absolutely, yeah.
Regan Ogle with the ball in hand. We've got more important matters to deal with. There's a football match going on, not board games, as Whitehall takes the ball from the throw in Regan Ogle, and it's worked wide to Denton. Denton in the left back position, runs out of room. His body shape was just a bit awkward. He tried to bring it in on the outside of his left foot, but didn't have enough room to work with. So 15 to go. Buxton 0, Scunthorpe United 0. Tactically, Buxton for the most part of this second half have been neutralised, but Buxton, are they riding their luck? As Scunthorpe United hit the target not often enough. A long ball away down the left hand side by the home team. Ogle can shield it out of play. Seems to be some communications going on now. Jimmy Dean, Andy Butler in heavy conversation. Do you go for it now? Do you put Danny Elliott up front now alongside Danny Whitehall, change the shape a fraction?
There is a potential to do that. I think Jimmy's happy with the shape. He'd be really happy with the second half performance. I said at half time, if you give me 0-0, I'd probably take it. A point away from home and a clean sheet. But we are so dominant in the second half. There will be a temptation for Jimmy to really go for it and throw Danny Elliott up alongside Danny Whitehall. But that would mean a change of shape, and I'm not sure that'll happen.
Throw in for Buxton. Regan Ogle threw it down the line. Danny Whitehall couldn't trap the ball. Jimmy Dean pacing around in his technical area, hands in pockets. Horbury for Buxton loses the ball in midfield. Scales to Ogle, neat footwork in a little triangle of passes which Clunan was involved with. He got a trip as well. Ball played forward, looking for Whitehall. It's an absolutely exemplary finish, but the flag has gone up for offside. Typical for Danny Whitehall in this game. He brought it down so smartly, but again, he was a good yard in behind the defence when the ball was set in. And that's really the only downside for Danny Whitehall this afternoon. His positioning has been a little bit off-key this afternoon.
Yeah, again, he plays on the edge of the back line, but what a touch and what a finish. Pulled it down, smashed it in the far corner, wowzer. But he was a yard offside, unfortunately. But Danny Whitehall, let's say, he's got a really, really good technique. And there's a yellow card for the goalkeeper. Time wasting.
Yep, he has the ball just outside his penalty area. And Sean Taylor administers the first booking for that ill-discipline from the free kick. Evans takes command in the air over Motley Henry, but the ball's coming straight back towards the 18-yard line, headed down by Boyce, gathered now by Elliott for Buxton. He uses Brown to his left-hand side. He worked back by Buxton back into their defence again. Hunt on halfway. He's going to try and go direct in behind the defence. It's going to run and run and run out of play for a goal kick. Fitzsimmons could have given him a chair to sit on in the second half because he's had very, very little to do as they play out of their defence now, Scunthorpe United. Just 12 minutes of normal time to work with if they want to come away from this with all 3 points. Gathered in the centre circle by Buxton. Motley Henry, little flick from him, finds Elliott, clever ball for Motley Henry, goes down inside the area. Sean Taylor waves it away. That was a big decision for Sean Taylor to make, and most of the fans around us up in arms and angry at the decision. The Andy Butler, one of the coaches, having a word or two at that decision. But goodness me, Mr. Turnbull, are Scunthorpe United lucky?
Hey, listen, you know, I've seen him given. Ball was ball played behind it. It was Motley Henry's pace that got him behind. I think it was Tyler Denton, and Tyler Denton made a genuine attempt to go for the ball. Whoever it came off, if Tyler managed to get a foot on it or it squirmed away. But I've certainly seen them given. We might have got away with one there.
Again, we'll get all the reaction from Jimmy Dean later. Tyler Denton took a bit of time to get back to his feet following that collision, and those changes will now come. Double change. Danny Elliott is going to make his way on. 4 goals in the Lincolnshire Senior Cup against Gainsborough. So he'll be itching to get onto the park, but also as well someone that you've been highly praising in terms of the substitutes, Lee, and that is Cameron Wilson as Danny Whitehall makes way. And look at the body language. He's obviously disappointed to be coming off, but he knows it's a team game and there's now fresh energy up front.
Yeah, absolutely. There won't really be a change in shape, but as I've said about Cam Wilson, I think Cam's got a yard of pace, and if he can get on the ball and front a defender up 1v1 in the final third, he can create opportunities. And again, Danny Elliott normally comes on and replaces Danny Whitehall in that centre forward position, so let's see what happens.
And his first port of call is to chest the ball down from Michael Clunan, and it's just skittled away from him, an attempted through ball by Denton, which runs out of play. Jason Law was the other man to make way for Cameron Wilson. who takes up position now on the right-hand side. Elliott up front. And then Cian Scales through the middle with Butterfield and Clunan. Connor Smith over on this left-hand side as Scunthorpe United reclaim possession in midfield. Scales trying to play it out to the right-hand side. Got too much height on it. But Butterfield is going to retrieve it in the centre circle and he's full of running. Neat through ball in behind Minahan to find Connor Smith. Minahan, did he nudge Connor Smith over? It will be a goal kick. No free kick either. Connor Smith thought that there was going to be some form of decision going the Irons way, but not to be. Remains 0-0 here at Silverlands Stadium. Durnley on a yellow card now for time wasting, and the Scunthorpe United fans getting a bit restless over on the far side as Scunthorpe will block off Hunt by Danny Elliott, but it's going to rattle away for a throw-in over on the far side. There's no wingers up that time. Jimmy Dean looks still very calm and composed. Knows that his team have got the upper hand for the most part of this second half as Regan Ogle battles away to win a throw-in for Scunthorpe United on halfway, and he throws it down the line looking for Danny Elliott, battling away with Hunt. Hunt wins the battle on this occasion and tries to clear his lines. Challenge on Clunan, and then an ambitious, very ambitious effort from Scunthorpe United from maybe more than 40 yards out, trying to catch Durnley off guard, which went nowhere near the goal. Ogle back on his feet, and 8 minutes to go. 2 changes made for Scunthorpe United. Danny Elliott's had his first touch. Cameron Wilson, such an influential, tricky player on the far side. As Durnley again trying to chew as much time as possible, as Buxton mixing up their goal kicks now, trying to play a combination of short and old school clearances away. The feeling that Scunthorpe are just winning more of those aerial battles, but now it's Buxton's turn to come forward. Minahan in the right back position, just halted his run, miscued his cross, but then likewise Smith does the same as Buxton have a throw in the final third. Thrown in towards Osborne. Poor pass through though, as Scales wants to bring the ball away. No free kick as he went over. Minahan across into the area. Nobody in navy blue on the penalty spot. Clearance comes off Danny Elliott, but it took a little glancing touch off Granite, man in navy blue. So Buxton just every so often just have a minute just to frighten the Scunthorpe United defence, but Fitzsimmons hasn't had to make a save in this second half, and he has the ball at feet, has it just to the left of his 6-yard box, taking as much time as he can before sending the ball away. It's going to be a free bit of control though on that far side for Osborne, gathered though by Butterfield, and Butterfield dragging the ball into some space. Regan Ogle skipping away from Osborne, now with Cameron Wilson, pursued by Brown, and it will be another free kick. It's in an area where they can directly put the ball into the box again should they choose to do so, Scunthorpe, and Butterfield immediately ushers everyone away to say, I'm taking charge. How many are Scunthorpe sending forward for this? They've got 4 around the D of the penalty area. Connor Smith joining in, he's in an offside position at the moment. Butterfield will play it in. Free header for Minahan though, so not the best of crosses, as Motley Henry is winning the foot race between him and Tyler Denton. Osborne and Elliott on that far side, they combine together as Buxton give the ball away. Cheap pass to give away. Butterfield on halfway, but then it's well won back again by Buxton as well read. Minahan now down this right hand side, across into the penalty area. Evans can clear his lines. It was a side foot pass out. George Horbury into the penalty area, trying to work the room to shoot into the hands. Fitzsimmons. It was on target, a decent try, but Fitzsimmons will need to be tested much more than that if Buxton are to go and get the winner. Scunthorpe trying to keep it in play with Elliott on this near touchline. Goes out of play for a throw-in. Now it's starting to and fro a little bit, Lee. 5 minutes to go, both going for it.
Yeah, it's the first time we've really seen Buxton as an attacking force in this second half. And fair play to them. It was the sub Horbury, got himself a position in the box, smashed it straight at Ross Fitzsimmons. But yeah, a little bit more attacking intent from Buxton. Total domination from Scunthorpe United in this second half. It would be a real travesty, obviously, if we lose the game. But at the moment, it's Buxton who are on the attack.
And they have the ball down near the corner flag, battling away. Here's Evans. Oh, that's a nasty challenge from Motley Henry. He's gone through the back of Evans. And Sean Taylor has the yellow card out straight away. That looked a smidge more malicious than what Jake Wright did earlier, but Motley Henry clattering into his man in the left-back position. And he just accepts the booking and moves on. That was a gutsy challenge, to say the least.
Yeah, it was a yellow card, wasn't it? It was a typical forwards challenge, really, wasn't it? Late, caught Will Evans, but no harm done with Will. Will's up and about, and a yellow card, rightly so, for Motley Henry.
Takes more to her to centre half, as a little glancing touch off Hunt means Wilson can gather the ball for Scunthorpe on the right-hand side, but then he's closed down immediately. Buxton just momentarily backtracking into a bit of a tight spot. They clear their lines. Evans is able to gather the ball. He's judged to have handled it. The Buxton fans certainly felt like it hit his arm. Long ball away. Danny Elliott, Wilson sticks his right boot up to try and hook the ball. And the Buxton defender has gone flat onto the ground. Don't think Wilson even looked at the man in navy blue. One or two people around us want to see a yellow card. I think that would be very harsh, as we've got 3 minutes of normal time still to go. I imagine there will be a bucket load of injury time as well for Scunthorpe United to try and utilise, as Dearnley will get ready to take this free kick. 2.5 minutes to go, Lee. It's getting tasty.
It is, yeah, and Cam Wilson there, 5 foot nothing, six stone wet through, and the lad went down as though he's been poleaxed by Anthony Joshua. But yeah, we've got a few minutes left in the game. We've been really, really comfortable, and we've been really good in this second half. However, it is still 0-0.
Definitely wouldn't want to come up against AJ in the defence, as Ogle takes a touch back to Fitzsimmons, scoops it up on his right foot and sends it booming away. Hunt with a free header, as Buxton have it again with Horbury. Weston then out by Hunt. The ball goes up into the night sky. A free header for Evans. Elliott trying to grapple and win the ball back. Buxton just seemed to be getting a little bit of a better hand of anything aerial when it's down the middle, as Denton can't wrap up Motley Henry. He's got Elliott for company, tries to push it through to him in the penalty area, 18 yards out. Corner kick. The Buxton fans very much encouraged. It's about 1,200 or so in Silverlands today, and Buxton are trying to finish as strongly as possible towards those fans on the full to capacity Marshall's Terrace away to our right hand side. Final minute of the 90. Corner to come in, and Buxton are quite happy to put plenty forward here. Nobody in the 6-yard box. Everyone is going to be charging in as it's delivered low and flat. Little flick, still not dealt with by Scunthorpe United, and it will pinball and spin and move about inside the box. Fitzsimmons, though, able to gather very, very calmly, and instead of clearing away fast, it's going to allow some Scunthorpe United players to get into positions as he goes for the long diagonal left, which was intended for Scales. He just misjudged the bounce. Weston with the big diagonal left side. Ogle reads it, gets rid of it. Ball is sent towards the final third of the home side. Lifted back towards the Scunthorpe United defensive line. Boyce's header brought down now in midfield with Horbury. Back by Granite towards Dearnley. 5 minutes of injury time. Dearnley, his clearance is partially blocked by Elliott, and that's forced Buxton to put the ball out for a throw-in in the final third. Still have one change left at their disposal should they wish to use it. But 5 minutes left in the game. Boyce is going forward from this throw-in as Scunthorpe United seek the winner. Regan Ogle on throw-in duty. Boyce going up into the 6-yard box. Elliott's in there. So too is Wilson. Bit of pushing and shoving going on as it is thrown in. Nodded down. Butterfield trying to charge in. Ball just goes up into the air on the 18-yard line. Nodded back by Motley Henry. Clunan trying to win the ball. Should be a Scunthorpe United throw-in, and it is, as Denton moves it towards Boyce. He goes back towards Fitzsimmons to the displeasure of some of those around him. Fitzsimmons' turn to play long, up to Elliott. A free header for him, and then a free header likewise for Granite as the ball stays in the air momentarily. Elliott finally brings it down. Buxton trying to play a through ball up to Motley Henry. Denton trying to read the players, done very well at left back. Plays down the line, looking for Smith. Smith can't control it. Neat movement by George Horbury, but won back cleanly by Scunthorpe United and Connor Smith. Jimmy Dean getting animated as well as the staff because they want to see the ball going in one direction, and that's towards Buxton's goal. It's up towards Cameron Wilson by the corner flag. A neat little ball on the right side of the penalty area. Connor Brown has given away a free kick. Yellow card shown. He's fuming with the lineswoman on the far side, who's had quite a lot of verbals thrown at her today, and she's just actually having a word in the ear of Sean Taylor at what Connor Brown has said. So this will be words for Sean Taylor. So what's going to happen here as Kerry Williams, the official on the far side, has had a word or two, and Sean Taylor is now coming across. Did I also notice him pick something up off the ground there? Sean Taylor coming over to this near side. Apologies for any strong language that might be around us here at Silverlands. And yep, it looks like an object has been thrown from the terrace. It would appear a coin was probably thrown in the direction of the Buxton defender Connor Brown. So one of the head stewards on this near side has retrieved the object. Jimmy Dean looks like he's just given an apology, but you can't let the fans, that you've got to keep your emotions intact even if you're unhappy at a decision. Connor Brown, from our point of view, didn't have a leg to stand on, but then the Scunthorpe United fans shouldn't be doing things like that.
No, absolutely. But it's a free kick in a really good position for us out wide. Jacob Butterfield quality now. Need to get it in that corridor, but certainly let the big lads attack it, and let's go nick a 1-0.
We're into the 4th minute of the 5. There'll be a bit of extra time added on as in the free kick swings, looking for Elliott at the front post. It'll be cleared now by Buxton. Denton will just keep the ball moving back towards Fitzsimmons. Buxton will sit in their shape. There's almost 6 in a line, but a little flicked header finds Wilson on the left. Has Smith for company. Connor Smith tricks Minahan and will now play the ball into the area. It bypasses Danny Elliott as Scunthorpe win the ball back again. So a look at the clock on the far side. 40 seconds left. And Brown looked like he just had a little nudge in the back of a player. The Scunthorpe United fans getting very animated on that far side. Connor Brown having a word once again with the officials on that far side as he goes to get the ball. And the Scunthorpe United fans, who were very close to the action. Brown gets a yellow card. Sean Taylor feeling that he's time wasting now. We've played the 5 minutes. Just to clarify earlier, Brown wasn't booked for the challenge, which resulted in a free kick just a minute ago. As the throw-in is taken down the line, Regan Ogle will head it out of play. We're now at the discretion of the referee as to how much time is now going to be added on to conclude this match at Silverlands, because we're into the 6th minute. Remains 0-0. An appeal for handball on the far side as Scunthorpe United will try and get one last chance of significance as Hunt has sent the ball into the stand where we are. Denton trying to get a hurry along to throw the ball in. He lifts the ball forward to Danny Elliott, who tries to flick it towards Connor Smith, and Smith will drive at goal. It's deflected behind by Hunt. So maybe one last roll of the dice, Lee. Corner kick.
Yeah, absolutely one last roll of the dice. Watch Fitzsimmons wants to go at me, the goalkeeper. I think he's forgot that it is 0-0. We're not chasing the game for, we're not behind in the game. Needs a good delivery. Needs a really good delivery, and hopefully, like I said, we can nick it.
And the man championship experience of Jacob Butterfield is the one to deliver. Angles it towards that 6-yard line. Up go the heads. Did it come off a Buxton man last? The answer is no. And the Scunthorpe United players certainly feel that it did. And that might be the last bit of goalmouth action that Scunthorpe United have today, as we are into the 97th minute, and Durnley is taking his time with this kick away. Jimmy Dean pacing around now inside his technical area. Still no look at the watch from referee Sean Taylor as Butterfield tries to flick the ball into the Buxton half. It's just sent away from that half of the field by Buxton and nodded out of play by Boyce. Buxton have Minahan on throwing duty in between the two technical areas. There's a look at the watch by the referee. Scunthorpe United's winning run is appearing to be coming to an end, as they might get one chance to go forward. The ball goes out of play for a throw-in. Another look at the clock. 97.5 minutes played here at Silverlands. Denton will throw it down the line. Elliott flicks it into the path of Smith. Was that a push by Granite? It was on Wilson. So final set piece maybe. Wilson was nudged by Granite. Free kick on this near side touchline. Butterfield has one last chance, possibly, to send this ball into the penalty area. The two centre-halves have gone forward. Fitzsimmons is waiting around near the halfway line alongside Denton as Butterfield, right-footed, sends the ball swinging into the penalty area. It's going to go over everybody. Butterfield's not happy because nobody challenged for it, and it was the final act this afternoon at Silverlands. Buxton and Scunthorpe United share a point. It means the winning run is over, but it does mean, Lee Turnbull, another game unbeaten for Scunthorpe United, and they're still ticking along nicely at the top of the table.
Absolutely, no complaints from me. Coming away from home, taking a point and a clean sheet at a difficult venue. We dominated the second half. Jimmy will be really pleased with the second half performance. First half was a little bit of a non-event, but we've absolutely dominated the second half. But you know what? Credit to Bucks. They've defended resolutely, they've dug in and hung in there, but 0-0 away from home is not the worst result in the world.
And one final one, it would have been potentially all different if Jake Wright had actually got a second yellow card when we all feel he should have been sent off.
Yeah, you're 10 minutes into the second half, which leaves 35 minutes, 40 minutes with added time to go and get a goal against 10 men. But the decision wasn't made by the referee. Incorrectly, in my opinion, he let him off with it. And the game might have been different, but like I say, no complaints. 0-0 away from home, clean sheet, still top of the table. Yeah, it's all good.